今日はですね、
people are gathering. So if you don't mind, I'd like to welcome you to turn on your video. Yeah, I understand that you may be having dinner right now, or you want to participate only by ears. I don't mind, but if it's okay with you, please turn on your video so that we can see your faces. ジョイさんだ。
今日はフォーラムまずはですね、フォーラムご一緒いただいた方、本当にありがとうございました。
So, people who participated in the seminar, thank you very much for your participation.
で、もう早いもので、2週間。
So it's already 2 weeks ago.
まあ余韻に浸りながら、いつの間にか4月になり、
It's already April. So we experience, we jump into the spring one more. Maybe a little bit different in other countries. And Highland join us from Netherlands. And Joy, thank you for coming.
皆さんそれぞれなんていうんですかね、こう春の、
So I guess all of you experience your own spring in where you are.
そういった感覚も含めてですね。
So including those sensing about the transition of the seasons. I'd like to take a moment to look back how was the experience of the forum and why we got together, what brought us to here, then and now. Sharing our feelings, our emotions. That's what I wanted to create this opportunity for. So we can start conversation slowly.
そんなことを思ってたら、とはいえ結構面白いコンテンツが。
That was original intention, at least. However, later, a lot of interesting topics came in. As I informed, I think you remember Dr. Iba, who talked about the deep source of the creation. And a lot of people expressed that they got inspiration from his lecture, but it ended in the middle, and there's a more interesting part in the latter part of his lecture. So including Taoism and the Shaman of the creation. That is a topic he offered to talk today. So after hearing his short talk today, we'd like to have more conversation with you after that. And also, do you, Miss Matsushima, Kosuke Matsushima, do you remember that we praying with Kodou, our heartbeat? So he converted our heartbeats to lights. And we have a brief experience of that with a pray. And we gathered data of your heartbeat then using the application. So using that data, then he's making that artwork using that data. That's not finalized yet, but yeah, it started to take some form, so he would like to share that with you. So we're going to do that today.
ということで、結構盛りだくさんになっちゃったんですね。
So, I thought we have a lot of time to talk, but actually there's a lot of things to cover. But let's take opportunity to share what you have experienced in the forum. So how are we going to do that? I think we have 36. You're welcome to unmute yourself. So let's take a moment. Why don't we use a breakout room? Because maybe too much to talk in front of 37 people. So we'd like to send you to the breakout room with 3 people. In your own room, you can share what you experience in this forum or what I've developed grow since the forum after 2 weeks. And some people participate in hosts 4 days, and some people didn't participate. This is the first night for you to join us, so it's different from people to people. So wherever you are, whatever you're present to, please share what brought you to today, why you end up coming here. So let's share that.
戻ってこられて、カメラね、マイクオンのままでね、よければそのままご一緒できれば。いや、面白いわ。そうね、皆さんなんかニヤニヤしてますけども。ね、なんかどうでしたかね。なんかどんなお話があったらかぜひね、聞かせていただけたら。
Everybody looks very happy. I'm interested in hearing what kind of conversation you had. So I asked you can freely come back if you have a language difficulty. Nobody came back, so I expect things are all right in your own room.
Japanese English experience. Good. なんかどうでした？どんな話があったかとか、あるいはまあそのね。
So let me hear what kind of conversation you had. Or, in a group, I welcome you to share what did you feel in the forum and whatever you want to share with people who shared a space of forum with you 2 weeks ago. I'm afraid you may feel kind of a little bit hesitant to speak in Japan.
And the first presentation by Dr. Iba was a really nice introduction to the whole theme, setting the stage basically for the idea of AWAI, and also the middle voice was very appealing to many people because it gave some sense of this balance between human active creation and things emerging around you, and that there's some sort of interaction that has to do with the balance between I and we or the all. And we also really enjoyed the wide range of perspectives that were presented during the seminar, with the artistic perspective, scientific, very practical, entrepreneurial, etc., etc. So everybody was very happy. And we looked back on a very nice event and shared ideas about that in our group.
Wow, thank you so much. で、今回ですね、同時通訳の方が、道枝は入ってくださってるんですけど、英語の、あれ、なんか画面共有。英語のですね、やつは、私が、訳することな、これ、画面共有大丈夫ですか？なんか、どなたか。あ、そう。なんで、出しなきゃいけないんですけど、今ね、はい。
Yes-san is in charge of translating English into Japanese. 2 interpreters are in charge of Japanese to English. Yes-san tried to interpret what Highland said, but he ended up talking about his, so we talked about the middle voice. Iba-san talked about the middle voice, and we it was really useful as a tool to see the connection between human and creation. And we can expect to hear from Dr. Iba about human creation today. And also the in-betweenness, I, we, all. So that is a very, Dr. Iba's lecture gave us a very important insight about how to deal with that in-betweenness. So I'd like to welcome other people to share. You can share both in English and Japanese, whichever is your choice.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Joey. I live in the Netherlands, and I had the pleasure of meeting two Ayumis in my breakout room. And Ayumi from Berlin, that's working with the Daiseiko product. I really enjoy this. And Ayumi from Northern Netherlands. So that was nice to be with both of you. And words that resonated for us were what Ayumi from Daiseiko had said to us was, start where you are. Start where you are. That was the soil from which we've been growing our activity since our last meeting together. And it was lovely how the conversation also embraced the word emergence, this entire forum, and talking about food and growth, and that it takes time. And I think the tempo of the forum really opened that up, that opened that space and held an opportunity for us to really build those connections. So I have a strong sense that moving forward, there's even more emergence for us. So thank you for all coming together and talking about these important time for us to slow down, connect with the spring season as it's opening. And thank you so much for how the forum has opened up this conversation for all of us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. 今の話とか、あゆみさん、いかがですか？なんか聞いて。
How about Ayumi-san? Would you like to share anything, hearing what Joy said? I mean, Matsuzaka-san. I'm really happy to hear that. You know, nobody translate this into Japanese. If you speak in Japanese, interpreters will be translated into English. So if you speak in English, I speak into Japanese. So I think Julia-san started to speak. So Japanese speakers, you can turn on the Japanese channel. You can hear the English to Japanese translation. Thank you, Julia. So anyway, you can use both channel. Okay. In a breakout room, there are two Ayumi. You know, she lives in Netherlands. So Joy, Ayumi, and me talked. So there's one small element of my presentation in the seminar, in the forum. They shared, Ayumi-san shared, that gave us a lot of opportunity to see things newly when she went to town. I experienced the same thing that the last 2 weeks since this forum, I feel really fulfilled because there's a lot of occasion. I recalled occasions in the forum. That's what she said. That's great. Yeah, same as the moment of the forum, the dialogue forum, visit me many times in those 2 weeks. Do you share the same experience, likewise experience? Is there any phrase revisited you? What was gave you a strong impression? Miki-san, may I speak? Please. Okay, I just joined here just before the breakout room, so I don't know what's happened before the breakout room. So anyway, our room was all men. What was interesting, what we felt interesting was common Iba centers and also women's talk. And also Shugendo Yamabushi talk, mountain priest talk, and Yamada-san's talk about mountain monk. It was really fun. I think you kind of planned that way, but different people from different fields talked and reached to the kind of a similar goal. That was really interesting when it's articulated that way. That's what we shared in the room. I was fully participated day one only, and the other days little partial. So I thought I knew the middle voice in relationship with being the responsible person, but I didn't expect that's connected to the creation. So that was a surprise for me. Yeah. So this is a book of middle voice, and this author also connect that with where the responsibility started. But in Iba Sensei's, Professor Iba's talk, he said what his work is about, not about the creativity. His work is more innovative. He tried to reach to the creation itself. So we expect a lot from today's talk from Professor Iba. Earlier, Mr. Miki said, you must have planned to create that way. However, we didn't expect that will turn out that way. So we covered, we cross over a lot of different fields, and we saw some connection in those different fields. For example, Hoshino Mountain Priest and Mr. Yamada on day 3. You can hear the music loud. So we were planning to talk about bio shape, what is a relation, what is the function or role of human being in the ecosystem era. And we had a session with a person from that field. And after that, we had a session with mountain priest Hoshino and Yamada. And after that, we get into the sociology and ontology, Roland Vasquez. And then we went to Nahum's space technology and art. In the end, we had a discussion. Welcome the comment from Dr. Inamura. He's here today, and he used the word holistic. So, we experienced that the holisticity coming into being in the forum. So, if you were not in the forum, what I am saying right now doesn't make sense at all. Maybe I welcome you to see the video archive. But I think you have a great time to watching the video. So we are releasing the archive video one after another. So we'd like to have a kind of group share in the end. So we just mentioned that Professor Iba in the aspect of middle voice. So he's here again. He gave us a great session last time, but he didn't finish his session as he planned. There was a remaining session. So he's going to continue on his lecture tonight. So it's going to be a 10 to 15 minutes short talk. And after that, we're going to have a dialogue. So Iba Sensei, Professor Iba Sensei, please go ahead. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen with you. So first of all, I love the graphic recording, so I use it my cover, my background here. So we're gonna talk a little bit about abstraction, but usually in my daily life, it's not so much abstraction. My daily activity is about education, and I support implementation in the area of communication, how to have a better conversation, how you can create a better planning on how to host people or presentation. And this book is about how the dementia people can have a high quality life. So I interviewed a lot of the people who has a very exceptionally high quality life, and we got wisdom from there and articulate that in a way that the people can share that together. This is a book I published last year. This is a hint for how to live in the era of Corona. So I shared my life so that hoping that can contribute to people. You know, our major field is implementation of wisdom in daily life. So this book is about how you can share the great time with kids while they don't go to school, or how you can cook together. So this is about the daily life, to have a high quality daily life. And it's a fruit of 10 years experience in the research about deep level of creation. So this is not about abstract thinking only. It has connected to the daily life, how you work, how you live your life, and it's distilled into abstraction. And I share that I grow vegetable in my small garden. And I have 50 kinds of vegetables, a very small amount each. But those relationship with each plant's vegetable is not about the theory. It's not about it's about the daily life. It's about the practices. So then dive into the abstraction. Okay. Last time I created a part of this slide I already made last time, the Shaman in creation. And the given theme I was given is emptiness or nothingness. And I wanted to connect to the Oriental way of thinking, but I actually did running out of time. So this time, Yasan gave me a new opportunity to speak with her. So I added more slides and I'd like to share that with you later. So you can read the slide later. So I just skim the slide and the share. So what we did is a principle of deep creation, 7 principles. That's what I shared last time. First one, egoless creation. So this is a theme of today. So letting go of the control of the creator's design and the intention. It's not about making something, but let something organically generated. So it's not about the planning or designing. It's more life-growing process. So that's what it's mean by egoless creation. And Egoless creation is not came from your artificial or your personal intention or planning. People often misunderstand. So I would like to say, I say egoless in the personal level, not the social level. Okay, so we shouldn't confuse social level and personal level. So in the social dimension, we don't mean the egoless in the social dimension. We are talking about egoless here in the context of creation. So at the personal level, you create something or something that you create. And in that sense, we use the word egoless. So please don't confuse it in the context of a social level. We don't mean here that you don't have any personal greed or personal desire. The people who trained in meditation understand this really easily, but we don't, egoless here doesn't mean you don't have personal desire at the social level. No, we don't mean that. We mean egoless is you don't have an intention in your creation or something. So let me share some words by Yoko Ogawa. So people may believe that because a writer is solely responsible for the entire work from the beginning to end, they can do whatever they want. However, that's not true. So creating something out of nothing seems to be very free and unbounded, but it's actually not at all. If you do anything even slightly again, Haruki Murakami said, it's my job to listen and understand what the story, it's my job to listen and understand what the story is seeking for. So I'm listening to what story wants to develop itself into. That is today's theme. So Haruki Murakami said in a different book, so it's like a shaman. It's become a medium. I may be a characteristic more susceptible than other people. The shamans or medium who allows other beings use themselves. And just like that, I'm sharing a message from that. This is Shunitaro Taniga, poet. When he created a poem, he said, sometimes I feel that I am allowed to be nameless in making things. So poet is a being who gives voice to something beyond their self. So he thinks he may be affected by those mediums. I think that's important because because he wrote, when he writing poem, it's about being cosmic, not social. So it's like he write poem just like growing vegetable for some soil. So he is letting himself used by something beyond himself. So that is something we want to think today. So shaman in creation. So this is a word from Carl Jung. He said, he started as apprentice of the Freud, but later independent. A creative human being has two contradictory dimensions. In one aspect, he is really personal or human, but in many other aspects, it's more impersonal creation process. So that means, so if I do some creative work, I have an aspect of Iba Takashi, a person, but there's another aspect, which is many aspects, which only understood through the process of creation. And those two kinds of aspects get together and create creative human being. I hear some resonance here. I am here, Takashi Iba, here, having this body. But when I do some creation, I am not bounded to that physical existence. It's like I am making something, that something what I'm making is kind of boundless. We mix up together. That's my experience in creating something. So Jung study about consciousness, and he talked about subconsciousness indeed. So he also mentioned that there's a collective unconsciousness, subconsciousness, deeper level of subconsciousness, archetype or mythology level. Personal existence. So this is a shallow, superficial existence is where you see yourself as a kind of independent person, a conscious level. A little bit deeper, it's still subconscious, but it's connected to your personal experience. And a much deeper level, you have a kind of human level. I used to study about complexity theory. I don't think that this subconscious deep is not about talk about the religion or God. It's about the more physical. When you have a computer, you start with OS, and at that level, each software has its own common characteristic, and I think human being as a living being has that kind of very common deeper level, which it's more hardware kind of thing, and it's a collective consciousness, and it's a common area of being human, and it's beyond, it's underneath the culture. And we can go deeper. We have same common ground with other living forms like dogs or insects. So it's not about a spiritual thing. It's about more biological or default the level. And that's at the deeper level. We have some aspect of mythology, which can be understood as a mythology, that are part of being human at a very, very deep level, or living forms. I'm interested in the in between Oriental and Western thinking. And I use pattern language as a way to support social implementation. And pattern language was created by Christopher Alexander, architects. He wrote a book, Timeless Way of Building, in 1979. And he used the word way, doesn't mean the road. This way is Taoism, a Tao in Taoism. And he was actually influenced by Taoism, and he wrote his memo, or he wrote a book about architecture, exactly same thing that Tao Chun Tzu Chan Tzu wrote. So I want to introduce shamanism in terms of Tao Tzu. So let me quickly go. So Lao Tzu and Chan Tzu. So their philosophy is called Taoism. It has been long read books, wisdom, about 2,000 years old way of thinking, starting in China. And Lao Tzu is the same era of the Aristotle. So in the Western philosophy, we have Aristotle, and that's their philosophy still alive. And in Oriental aspect, we have Lao Tzu and Chan Tzu. And it is said that we don't know whether Lao Tzu actually exists or not. Chan Tzu, there's evidence that he exists. Regarding Lao Tzu, people think maybe he's just created an artificial, somebody made it. But Lao Tzu said is exactly, regardless whether he actually exists or not, it's secondary. But Lao Tzu, the person called Lao Tzu or somebody created Taoism, or Taoism may be a result of a collective thinking, and it still influences us even today. That's the important point. And he mentioned about the shaman, and this is according to Dr. Izutsu, and Lao Tzu doesn't mention about shamanism, but he sees the shamanism. Dr. Izutsu sees the shamanism in Taoism. The person called Shiba-sen wrote in an old book. Lao Tzu is told to be born in the era of Soul, and he was really active. And Shaman, at that era, Shaman was really active. And at the time, shamanism, the concept shaman, it is a phenomena in which the inspired seer in a state of ecstasy commune with a supernatural being. And gods are being, as it well known, a man or a woman who has a natural capability of this kind tends to serve in a primitive society as an intermediary between his tribal men and in a way, shaman communicate in the ecstatic state. So in the festival, or a lot of music or drinks, and reach to some state of mentality and see some vision and communicate that. And that's bring a different vision than our ordinary way of daily life. And in a way, that may be some specific traits and limited to only a certain kind of people, not general. Thinking about that, looking back that, what kind of people shamans are, what kind of mental state they have, we are guessing right now. But I said creative imagination. So I guess maybe a shaman is a kind of people who kept creating the creative imagination connected to the mystical cosmology. And in the era of cold soul in China, and Taoism started, that the era that shaman were very active in the era of soul. At that time, there are a lot of poets and philosophers like Chan Tzu or Lao Tzu. So shamanism and philosophers, thinkers, and poets. So those are different kinds of stems came into one philosophy called Taoism right now. That's one way of analyzing Taoism. So Tao means the way. That's the important idea. So said it simply, we have a chair here, desk here, and this personal computer. So things have its own shape, and they are stable. However, they don't exist that way originally. So this is a way 2,000 years ago people think. Now common way of thinking right now, modern way of thinking is everything is made up of that atom. But not only physical things, but also a way of thinking like what is good, what is beauty. So those things exist caught together. That is a way. And that way has some generative ability. And there are things doesn't discriminated. People doesn't have its own shape. It's all mixed together, and its ability to emerge into some shape. So Lao Tzu got that intuitively. He understood that intuitively, and he shared that with us. But he doesn't tell us how we can reach to that state. He just say that is possible. We don't know how to reach there. And so we think Lao Tzu must be a shaman because he belongs to the other side, and he feels that. And Chan Tzu is a person who think about a lot about how we can arrive at that state. So the way is a birth of everything. And Bible things furnish them with forms. They grow up as things, each being furnished with the matrix is the way before everything takes its own shape. So the way to begin is, we call it the way because we need a name to refer to that. So we call it the way, but it doesn't mean the way. So timeless way of building the book by Alexander. He mentioned a lot about quality without a name. Quality doesn't have a name. Quality is nameless. Alexander wrote lots of kind of Taoistic idea. So Lao Tzu said, there is a kind of thing we tentatively call the way. So by knowing that is possible, we can kind of sense the reality we know as real may not be the only reality. So that is the way to metaphysical law of the cosmos, and that is Lao Tzu's idea. And Izutsu-san analyzed, Dr. Izutsu sees shamanism in the Taoism, and I feel a resonance with egoless creation, because creator become a kind of shaman, and the creator is a kind of shaman who hear what the things now is being created, wants to be created as. So Mr. Izutsu researched that as a part of Oriental thinking philosophy. So that's also interesting for me. Shaman mode of thinking, that's how he called it. So shaman way of thinking, he also continued his analysis or his theory about relationship, shamanism and Lao Tzu. And the reality of being is chaos. So whatever the shape we see right now, it's not definitive, it's not final. It's just a temporary shape. Whatever has a shape right now, their shape is temporary. So including what is good, what is bad is also temporary. So we shouldn't be contained in one way of understanding of the reality. So there's a things called Zabo. That is Chan Tzu said. Zabo, the Chinese character means sit and forget. Za is sitting and the bo is forgetting. So what is the meaning of Zabo? Sitting in oblivion. It means that all the members of the body become dissolved and active at the each and ear, and the activities of all the senses organ become abolished, so that the man makes himself free from both forms and minds. So all the senses, all the understanding, it's gonna get rid of them, and you make yourself one with something you're creating. That is a state of Zabo, sitting in oblivion. That is an expression of chaos. So the idea we have, things should be like this this dissolve into everything, take the shape and change shape. It's made some resonance with Greek Heraclitus, 2,000 years ago. I feel some resonance between Oriental way of thinking and the Western way of thinking. It's still undifferentiated way of thinking, and that is a way. And we return to the undifferentiated area, the way, and come back to the reality right now we exist. So it doesn't mean the reality we know as reality not important. What's important is being flexible, and that is a creativity. So the common sense in the society right now, things exist right now. In order to create something, we need to make ourselves free from those common sense and reach to the undifferentiated state and come back and create. And that's my understanding of deep creation. So those quotes say the same thing. And in Taoism, it has a connection with cosmic theory. So I call it cosmic Taoism transmutation. So I just understand, oh, that's the way how you saw it. But my interest is more about creating something, because cosmic transmutation, the idea of that is important in creation. Sometimes we make things just change superficially, but sometimes we dissolve everything, we break everything down and start from the beginning, deep creation. That type of creation has very near to cosmic transmutation. That's how I feel. So Dr. Izutsu mentioned about the subconscious deep consciousness. And this is my first opportunity to share my idea about creative shamanism. So this is the first cut of my sharing. It's not refined. It's not deep enough. But Izutsu-san, Dr. Izutsu wrote a lot in English about Oriental philosophy. For me, he's a great mentor. Yeah, so kind of connection. Dr. Izutsu is a great mentor if you're interested in connecting Western and Oriental philosophy in terms of creation. And I would like to, I hope that we can discuss about that deeper. So his original writing in English now translate back into Japanese. So it's more interesting. So Dr. Izutsu made a presentation at Eranos conference in Switzerland. So my Orientalism is focused on more in China, but Dr. Izutsu is his Oriental includes Middle East and Islam. That's more interesting. So 2,000 years ago, so in that 2000 era, what we mingle into, what we coexist is with nature, not industries. So if we go back there and retrieve some wisdom from there, what we can, how we can implement that and use it wisely in the modern society. That's what I'm interested in. So I'm thinking of those things in one mind and thinking how we think it's practically in the current society. So I'm going back and forth, going left and right, and cross over a lot of different fields, undifferentiated, and create a chaos, and so that something new emerges. Thank you so much. Dr. Iba, thank you so much. There's so many things I would like to start with, but if I start speaking, it's end up being another forum again. So I'd like to welcome you to share what you felt or what, if you have any question. It doesn't need to confine to just making a question, but share your question and share your discussion, share what you felt, mingle. I have so many things I would like to, this is Dr. Inamura. That was so interesting, too interesting. I can't suppress myself. So he mentioned about the emergence, again, of accident or by chance. There's a lot of, I teach in the university, Kyushu University, and the Art Technological University. And our logo is looks like a finger print, but it means a chaos. Originally, it means chaos. So instead of try to understand fully, leave the chaos as chaos and keep thinking. So that is what our logo implies, and we maintain that discussion every year. Sorry, my connection is not good. So there's a story. There's a story of the king who digs the hole too deep, and he died. We can hear you. Don't worry.
こっちの方が聞こえてないのかな。
なんかこっちの声が。
いや、僕の方のコネクションがちょっと今日は質が良くなく。はい。あ、大丈夫です。
Yeah.
まあそういう、僕の方聞こえてる。
Okay, I got you can hear me. So there's a story of the king who digged that hole too deep and died. So it means everybody dig into their own silo and their technology or their art, and they define too much in their own field. So we make things leave it undefined. So I went to school in London, and I wrote a thesis on Lao Tzu. And his writing is number 11 of 30, and I experienced that his Lao Tzu's idea is really has to do with the designing. You know, the chassis of the spoke of the wheel. So the wheel has a spokes. What makes wheel is not the material of the wheel, but where the material doesn't exist in a wheel makes wheel. So what's important is not about the material thing itself, but the space which allows the material to exist. So you make a porcelain vase, and what's important is the porcelain vase itself. What's important in the vase is the empty space of the in the vase, because you can contain things there. So I wrote it in English, and somebody translated into Japanese, and was originally written in Chinese, right?
まさしくその意図しすぎずにっていう今日
So without too much planning, too much intending, that actually lead us into the specific designing. So that's what I kind of noticed 20,000, So that's coming back to me right now. So inspiration spikes, and that's made me really happy right now. Thank you very much. So we can continue this dialogue many hours. So Iba Sensei's message, we live without being bounded in dualistic world is a very important message from Dr. Iba. In the Ecological Memes Forum, we talked a lot about the giving up, letting go of ego. By letting up of I, we can return to the original being or original life experience. Well, that can be understood from the dry computation or other fields, but Iba Sensei said, he said, dive into the chaos once and coming back like a U theory. So dive into the chaos and not stay there and come back to the reality as lived. So dive into and come back, emergence again. I think that's a really important, powerful message for me from Dr. Iba. So it may be difficult. On the day 4 of the forum, when Shinohara-san and Nai-san talked about, have a discussion, dialogue, and we talk about the resonance area of dark ecology, and there the word duality used often. And we talked about what is being human, what is the identity for human being. The things we identify ourselves with is no longer valid. So the maybe human being, existence of human being now is coming into the collective existence. But there is a desire for us that we want to set the boundary to see this is I, this is me. But having both area, having hold two spaces is important. I know it's a kind of dangerous to connect this dualism idea with directly to what Dr. Iba is saying right now, but I hear some resonance there. So this I, and this ego, we have a desire to remain there, stay there, being I, but in our daily life especially. But when we meditate, well, when meditation is called the training to stop thinking. And Dr. Izutsu says, if we become kind of a meditative state in the daily life, I think that has to do with what Iba-san said, that when you dive into the chaos, where there's no name in it, you cannot think anything, and but we need to come back. That's what Dr. Iba said. Yeah, hearing what you said. Fumia-san, I'd like to welcome you. Dr. Iba, please go ahead. So I said there are two axes, social and creative. So social relationship, for me, it's not important, the social relationship level is, there's a lot of issues there, but what I'm interested in, what I pursue to is egolessness in the area of creation. Getting deeper in the creation is more important for human being, what I think. So, maybe it's important for human to a little bit free from the relatedness with people. But I am more interested in being free from ego in creation. So Taoism and Lao Tzu and Chen Tzu give us a lot of inspiration in that context. So even in our daily life, we may relate to Taoism and so that we have a little bit of free space from our day-to-day activity and obsession. But when you want to create something, you need to swing to the direction of creation and chaos. And because pull to the relationship society is really strong. So, I'm not very, my focus is not on the social or relatedness level. And I'm not good at dealing with those areas, the research area. I am more interested in creating. So whatever I offer today is in the context of creation, creating. So it doesn't mean I dismiss the social aspect. There's a lot of people who is way better thinking about that. So I like to leave that field. So I am more interested in Taoism in the context of creation. And it has to do with number 11 out of 30, Dr. Inamura said. So not many people talking about Taoism in the context of creating. So you can see the book of Lao Tzu and in a bookshop in the context of social, right? You can be a little bit more free space in your daily, day-to-day relationship with people. But I am more interested in creating, like a life creating. So I would like to develop that connection with you. Thank you very much. So we having a Kosuke Matsushima's session. But before going to that, I'd like to welcome Miwa-san and Fumi-san. And she is a professional flower arrangement, and we invited her to make a presentation about it. And she or he mentioned about listening to the voice of flower, and it has to do with egoless creation. So Fumiya-san, if you have any comments here, I'd like to welcome you to share with us. Fumiya-san, sorry. So we plan to end at 7:30, but as you can tell, we may a little bit go longer than that. But because we prepared a great performance with Kosuke-san. So if the time permits, and if you're willing, I'd like to invite you to stay with us a little bit longer than scheduled. So, Fumiya-san, please. Thank you very much. I'm a professional of the flower arrangement. My name is Fumiya Yamamoto. I participated in the 4 days of the forum, and I was so much impressed by Dr. Iba's lecture, because when I make a flower arrangement, in Japanese, we use the word ikeru, that means make it live or give it alive. Okay, so it's not about I'm not creating. So in Japanese word, we say ikeru hana. Ikeru means let it be, let it live. In my case, so the focus is flower and the God behind the flower. And I'm just a slave of the flower and the God behind the flower. So some people say that you use legs to make a flower arrangement. That means you visit mountains and you find a flower, but you can't really get all the flower you like. but you sense that and you get the permission from the mountain that you can take this flower, and the flower asks you to, well, let me stay this way or that way. I just listen to that and I follow that. And I don't have any pleasure. I'm not taking any pleasure making flower. I just, they say something to me. I just follow that. So that's how I experience. So Iba-san's talk about the egoless creation, it's really resonant to me. Some people might understand it in the context of mythology or spirituality, but Dr. Iba doesn't take that road. He takes more logical, physical road. So my experience is the same. I honor my life. I honor the life of flowers. I honor the mountain and life, and I enter the mountain. And somehow I will be guided to somewhere I usually don't go in the mountain, and I end up finding the beautiful, pretty flower there. And I realized, oh, I came to this mountain today to meet this flower. So that kind of sense, or I think my experience that resonate to that. Yeah, I have never heard the story from the flower arrangement world. Thank you very much, Dr. Iba said. Yeah, cultural flower. You know, in Japan right now, Western way of flower arrangement is more become mainstream. So Oriental way of flower arrangement that give life to flower is now not a major stream. But that is old Muromachi Heian era, old culture of, okay, please meet with me. I like to interview you. How about interview that? I like to hear your world. Yeah. I also hear the resonance. Your Fumiya-san's world and Iba-san's world is connected. So we once had a program with you, Fumiya-san, Ikebana Awareness. It was an online program. There was a program that the people visit the flower and listen to flower in each places they are located right now and share that. And there may be some emergence will come out. You know, someday, sometime, like to have next opportunity to have a program together. Okay, sorry to running out of time, but we like to continue. Earlier, we saw the connection between shaman and the creator, and the creator shaman give life, their life or life to the things that are being created. And Matsushima Kosuke-san are actually doing that in day one, and he focused on life in his artwork. In that session in the forum, we pay attention to our own heartbeats, and Matsushima-san led that session, and we gathered the heartbeat data and convert that to the light, and usually that application is used the chaotic chaos theory algorithm. So we'd like to ask Matsushima-san to guide us to share his experience of making that art and the interim temporary current position of that art making. Kosuke-san, so I apologize for becoming late.
Thank you for waiting, Kosuke. Can you hear me okay? Hi, some of you, nice to meet you. I'm Kosuke Matsushima, and it's already 7:30. I was wondering that I should do my performance or not. And playing with Kodou is my artwork. And first day of the forum, I remember that we didn't have enough time, but today I would like to show the place as time, they express the place or the field that we created in the forum. I would like to say that I don't know what it is really. How can I say? For me, it's how I can be surprised by the creation that I create. So in the middle of the creation is always making me surprised because it's beyond my expectation or plan. So that kind of experience that I want to share with all of you. So let me share this. Pray with Kodou in the forum. And what we do is to convert the heartbeat to the light. So when you imagine the stars or fireflies, and we pay attention to all the lights coming from human beings. So pray with the heartbeat. So when, like last time, that there are about 100 participants, and 1/4 of the data of the heartbeat I collected. So this is a sample of the heartbeat, the artwork. These are the kind of past artworks, not from the our forum, but this is the example of the 116 people when I have this presentation in Netherlands. So start from the one light and more coming, and making the right bottom is a creation from the heart, the collection of the heartbeats, and it's like what fireflies shining. It's like our human being that we all have the life, and if I collect them, and what kind of a scene that we can see. So this is the kind of beginning of my creation. So when I emerge with you, so this is something that I wanted to see, and I did it in the forum last week. So I'm sorry there is no English translation on this seat, but what I did in the forum was, as I wanted to, the picture that I saw, I showed that I was planning to utilize it, but I changed my plan. I created from the scratch that there's a warmth on cool on the temperature or the kind of feeling that from all of you that I wanted to create from that. And there is 4 elements in it. One is like existence of our life, and visualize it, and then gathering all the heartbeats of the participants, and then they are moving of the life, and our life converting to the life started moving and then interacting each other. And the third element is that our existence is there, that without talking or expressing anything, it's just there. So the life without any intention that we are communicating or reacting each other. And then the field, if it's the one life and one life force, that this is like a creation of the field there, that collection of everyone. And if we collect our life together, what kind of thing that will be emerged and created? So this is the field, like dynamics of our life as a field. So it's nothing like right or wrong or beautiful or not. It's the creation, it's the scene that you see, that we share. There, what is the what is there? What was that we all connected and then reacted and involved, and then there's kind of hidden intention or and what was that? And then from there, if there's something arising or being created from there, and it's like a mirror of our lives. So if you feel something from that, that will be wonderful. And then we live on the planet, all of us, and then we cannot see inside of the body, right? So how we can make it visualized is something that I'm always trying to do. So I want to show what we created in the forum. So please enjoy.
Like
keep playing. And what is it? I myself always wonder that what it is. I don't understand what it is. Really. But this is something, this is like a kind of characteristic of what I create, is I really don't understand what it is. So this is what people watch this, feel and think, and there's a meaning after people view it. So this is the feeling that me and my team feels. So like my session, is not just my session that remember 4 days forum, and even though each session does not directly related to my artwork, but this is the kind of collaboration of 4 days, and then this is something I don't understand, but there's something, and really depends on what kind of people who involved. So this is something I'm interested to hear from you, that how you felt and what is your opinion by viewing it. So that's from me, yes.
聞こえてるのかな、これ、やすさん。あ、これ画面共有切んないといけない。コウスケさん、ありがとうございます。
Thank you, Kosuke. If you feel something by viewing this work, as Kosuke said that the forum, what was the forum? What was trying to be created and what was trying to be born? And if you want to share your impression or comment, please say it or even write in the chat and how you felt. I'll be very happy to hear your sharing.
It's
really interesting. And I feel like, oh, okay. Anything that coming from yourself, anything, please share on the chat. Okay, I will translate some of the comments. I feel the very gentle vibration. It feels like I'm in mother's womb. There is something already existing there. It's really miraculous that there is a heartbeat that we operate together, and the shape coming and go. And in addition, it looks like the shape, like a certain shape. What I'm doing is there is 37 people. And this is designed as if there are 10,000 heartbeats, 10,000 light, that based on the resource that I get of the 37 heartbeats. So it's like, it's really hard for me to explain it in the world. It's like a kind of different shapes and appear and go, show. And what is this kind of sting or the like sticks on your skin, or the existence? It's always there. It's already there. When I create something that like I have to design, and I design or create apps, but in the beginning and in the end, it's like I concluded that I don't create anything, because without you to notice it, that you don't, notify the existence of my creation, right? So hear the voice that you cannot hear, or the things that you see but you cannot see, but things that you like that is, these are the things that I want to convey and share with you. So all these comments, I'm so thankful that from all of you to what is the field of the place that we share? What was these 4 days? And all of you gathering here, for each of you probably have a different kind of experiences, or you learn or you sensed from these 4 days. What was that forum? Anything that you experienced from 4 days, or that video that you just viewed, that anything? Actually, is this it's like a flat or 3D? That work is, it's actually, I was in the island, southern island called Yakushima, and I brought the mobile projector, and I'm projecting all these heartbeats, the light on the sea. And when I project in the midnight, and I'm filming that projection on the sea is the work that you just viewed. And I normally do is that project the light of your heartbeat on the nature. Like, for example, this time I project on the sea. So there is the wave, depends on the wind, how strong the wind is. So the creation from the is really varied. So in the near future that I project all the lights on the nature somewhere. And then also the 37 heartbeats from this forum, but also I have collected so many heartbeats from different people from different events. So I'm collecting, and I'm going to collect like 10,000 heartbeats and then create the artwork. What is going to be happening from all this collection of the heartbeat lights of the 10,000. So your heartbeat from that forum is going to be part of this project, the future project. So that is going to be shown to the different people where you would never know where to be shown and who will be viewing. So I would like to thank all of you to dedicate your heartbeat once again. So thank you very much for involving us to be part of your big project that you are working on. So we're near to the end of this gathering, and there are so many beautiful comments. If unmute your mic, and then if you can maybe say something. If you really want to say something, please, I will welcome to hear from you.
はい、どうぞ、ジョイお願いします。もうここからはオープンなので、誰喋ってくださいって言わずに。
Okay, Joy. We're welcome. So it's close to the end. So please, we're welcome to hear from your comment.
I am so thankful for how this presentation has really shaped around an experience that I have. It brings to life the photography work that I do. And you just spoke to the essence of how I go to the canal. I live near the water, and on the canal, my creation is seeing the water create images. I let it evolve. And when you were talking about the wind and the current and how it flows and creates, and also the movement of the fish below, it absolutely creates itself. And so I just enter the space after I meditate and allow that vision to present itself. And then I wait for the moment, and then I dissolve into the moment. As you're talking about this, I see this whole movement, and then dissolving into the moment, and then that's the moment the camera and I connect with the water. So I really, really, really appreciate the resonance and the words that you put to this. It's like a kinetic emergence. So I'm very thankful. Thank you. Yeah. Wow.
ありがとうございます。他の方ももし少し話せることがシェアできる。
Yes, if you have anything that you want to talk and you want to add, it's your last chance to hear your voice. Please share. There are so many people from a different background here, and for my kind of feeling, I'm myself an artist. Then when I feel something, and then the people have a different application or background, I express it, and from a different perception, different angles. And I'm so grateful to hear the kind of things that I feel or I do from different perception, different expression. That was so, it was such a joy to hear that. Yes. These speakers and also the participants here, everyone has a different background or and probably this is the only place that we can possibly meet and gather together. So this forum is the place that people meet for the first time, but there is something created from the meeting of the participants or the speakers. So this, I feel like the forum itself is like one living organism or something. And Iba, Professor Iba said it's a creation itself. So it's our life, the light of life, as Kosuke-san showed. So it's life itself is like that. It's just coming out like this. It's probably our life. That's how I feel now.
I think the beauty is also in the fact that there are so many people with so many different ways of looking for the same thing, who you are and how you can express that and what it means to be one and the same in some way, and yet different. And their life on Earth has so many ways in which we can experience that and show that and enjoy it. And I think this what we've just seen today, also from a scientific and artistic perspective, very philosophical, very practical as well, and everything is in a way in a beautiful harmony with each other. And everybody has their own way of expressing how they look for, what it means to be a human and to be alive. And so I think it's very, very special. Thank you everybody.
ありがとうございます。もしよければ最後ね、お顔出していただいているマッキーさんとか、ね、コメント。
Maki san or other people, show your face if you would like to say something. Final comment, please. Good evening. Thank you, Yasu-san. The forum, the Zarets said, new symphony of human awareness is something that remain in my mind since then. And now Harris-san said that symphony, I feel the symphony that feels so comfortable, and then I feel a kind of hope. It's not for solving something, it's rather the AWAI in the zone itself, beyond the border, and see the space itself is, zone itself was something I liked. It's really hard to express what was this forum was like. And Yasu-san said that stay like that, stay being uncertain. So exactly, I feel like I'm in uncertainty. Thank you so much. And the mountain priest Hoshino-san said that Aimaisa is like uncertain. There's no ending. There's the clear result answer. And Hayden-san said that beyond the specialist or what kind of occupation, whatever you belong, that we always make the code like a border and make it different. Even though we belong to the different kind of genre or occupation, but these borders are created by us. But beyond the, without the border, that we can learn from each other, and then despite of the differences, that we can create or we can share so many things and learn from each other. And that's, I feel, the hope from that she just said that about the hope. That's exactly I feel. And I was trying to say this moment, I just aware it's related to Professor Iba's talk. In that time, we may be becoming a shaman. We probably becoming shamans in that time that listening to Professor Iba. And as I wrote it, there is something there is in the ego state that we cannot see, but when we release the border that we have, that we reveal ourselves out from the place that we have a border, but beyond the border, that there is something that the space or cosmic trying to make us to be creating something that we touch upon the part that where that part remains in our body. There's something that we felt is moving us to where we belong and the activities that we are doing. And that is a state that we receive, like a shaman experience that we receive. That is that that's something how to explain, but something like felt that it's like a shower that we felt experienced. That's something that invisible was there for sure. The forum itself that I often talk with the team members that we don't feel like we are creating this forum, and there is something is trying to be coming out, and it's just automatically appearing, and that's exactly what probably all of us share and then experienced during the forum. And I really feel like I want to keep talking, but unfortunately it's time to be ending. So I would like to show something as information, so that this is like a post forum gathering, and there's things that I feel like it's actually the beginning of the new adventure. So I would like to continue this journey with you. So there are some announcements for you. I would like to share in the chat. If you can send us the questionnaire, some of you have already sent me, and they are so beautiful. Thank you so much. So if you haven't, please, please give us back your experience. And this is the archive that you purchased this archive ticket. We're going to send starting from day one. So if you miss some of the sessions, and people who cannot make it to attend today, or that we are going to start selling the archives. So like Professor Iba's session today, that Professor Iba's session in the forum is going to be ready to be sending, and actually we're doing all this production with a limited budget. So please, if you can help us, that'll be great. And then also the some other programs that we do is also the will be available. So please enjoy. And about the mailing list, we have a connection with the PTX or Eventbrite, that we are unable to communicate over email on Eventbrite or PTX. So if you would like to keep contacting with us, so please let us know if you want to stop receiving information or keep receiving it. Please let us know. And next information is the gathering from now on. We have so many connections from with different people, so we would like to continue the events. The forum was like have many topics, so we cannot go deeper. So we would like to focus on some topics and go deeper. So for example, bioart and eye technology and post-human centered design. So these technological area that we want to talk about. So if you, Saki-san, can you please explain about this one? What our plan is, the date or details undecided, but if you, Saki, can you explain the ecological meme? Oh, I'm one of the staff members. My name is Saki. As Yasu said, this bio-art or artificial intelligence or voltaics or those technology science that these artists in a different opportunity, I would like to invite those artists. And I also, we already have a good feedback, the answer that as a theme, as you can see that bio-art and post-human centered design, we're planning it. So artist or designer, and I live in Berlin, of course the Japanese artist, but and also the artists in European countries or other countries that we would like to invite those international artists. So the bio-art is not just a human being, and also the bacteria or the plants or other lives that there are so many artists that are using a different living organism that and how we relate with the different kind of lives. So we can probably design something to interact with the different bio or lives. And the next event we're planning is you can see the Eastern philosophy, which is Toshihiko Izutsu. And what is it? And Buddhism meditation. And Koya-san, the monk, the Mr. Kawashima, he's a monk at the Koya-san temple. And he was very busy during the ecological meme because of the religious ceremonies. And Izutsu Toshihiko's research was taught by Professor Iba. And Izutsu has so many influential works to be bridging Eastern culture and Western culture. And the Kukai is Kukai Buddhism, and including that what is kind of a life that we are going to be having in the future in this kind of modern society. So there will be the meditation, Getsu Rinka Meso, based on the moon is a theme. Moon meditation is going to be quite interesting. So please look forward. I'm very much looking forward to it. And today, then the interpreters, Yumi and Julia, are the interpreters today. And I would like to continue this deep conversation with all of you and then continue this kind of a forum or events and collaborating with many different kind of artists or experts. So we are very happy to have your support by donating us. And also, if you have any kind of idea or the topic that you all want to deal with, or collaboration, if you have any idea, we'll be happy to have any idea from all of you or feedbacks. And thank you very much for your participation despite all this, long time that we have been talking much longer than we planned. Once again, thank you very much, interpreters, for Yumi and Julia. Thank you very much. So, this gathering is so sorry that we have to close our session. So please, all of you, unmute and say bye. And if you want to remain, please stay just a few minutes more. So I really wish that we gather together here again.